Hello, What Culture? It's me, Simon Miller, and you pushed that big play button. You've clicked the video in your big list of videos, which means you want to get the ups and downs for Raw. And what is ups and downs? I hear you ask if you've never watched this show before. It's when we go through Raw, which is a WWE television program, and we give the good bits an up all together, and we give the bad bits a down. And as always, if you did join in with me, you now look crazy in the school or the home, or I don't know, maybe you're watching it as you're walking somewhere on your phone, which is dangerous. Don't do that, but of course do, because it's all about watching YouTube videos. Let's get on with it. Up and some downs. Now, as stupid as the sentiment was at the start of Raw, I liked it. It's ganging up. It was our man John Cena running to the ring and telling us that if he doesn't win the Elimination Chamber and he doesn't go on to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania, he may not be on WrestleMania at all. You kidding me, John? Are you kidding me? You're John flipping Cena. Even if you don't win the Elimination Chamber match, I guarantee you this, someone is going to find a place for you on that card. Again, I like the sentiment. When you actually think about it, it was stupid, should never have been said. That aside, at least saying all of that did build up the importance of the Elimination Chamber match at the next pay-per-view, and that was good. And it made me think, actually, I think I'd rather John Cena versus Brock Lesnar as the main event of WrestleMania 34 instead of Roman Reigns, but that ain't happening, so sometimes you just have to accept that and move on. Miz then came out and basically told Cena it wasn't 10 years ago, this is 2018, it's the year of the Miz, and he, as well as being the IC title holder, is going to win the Elimination Chamber, and he will fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34, and this was quite funny, because John Cena then said, you know what, as those words came out of your mouth, somebody in the crowd actually chuckled. It was a good line, made me chuckle too. So eventually Cena challenged Miz to a match and said, hey, you want to come and talk smack to me? Well, how about we settle it within the squared circle, and whoever loses has to start the Elimination Chamber in position number 1. Now, Miz was a bit hesitant. Then the Miztourage ran in. They beat the crap out of John Cena. Then, surprise, surprise, the Miz was all up for it. Kurt Angle came out. Match was booked. Away we go. And it was pretty decent, all things considered. It's getting up. Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas were banned from ringside, and you know what that means. And unfortunately for Miz, he did try to pin John Cena straight away after the aforementioned attack. Cena kicked out, and Miz was like, nuts. It was fun though, my only real issue being that John Cena kicked out of the skull-crushing finale. We didn't need that. We could have just not seen a skull-crushing finale, and then maybe eventually finishes, but actually be finishes again. Miz then decided that he would try and hit one of these from the top rope, and that was a stupid idea too, because John Cena reversed it into an AA off the top. 1, 2, 3. John Cena wins. The Miz is in position number 1 for the chamber. And all things considered, a very nice, relaxing, enjoyable start to Monday Night Raw. A couple of backstage interviews next, and I guess they were both fine. Just getting up. Started with Woken Matt Hardy telling us that he will turn the Elimination Chamber into the Deletion Chamber because he's got a second chance match to get in, and we'll get to that later. And then Gallows and Anderson told us that the Revival were nerds because they knew about old tag teams. Great. And it's a down now, as WWE once again seems to have no clue what they're doing with their tag team division and are just doing things over and over again for the sake of doing things over and over again. Down. But yeah, the club did take on the Revival for like the 12th time in 3 weeks, which doesn't even mathematically make sense. This time the Revival won. And yes, it was a very good match, but now it seems like both teams are treading water. Don't let two good tag teams tread water. Naturally, the Revival took advantage of the situation throughout. They attacked Gallows and Anderson during their entrance. They get chop blocking people, and eventually they hit them with a Shatter Machine for the 1, 2, 3 and the Revival win. But what this means, I don't know, because nobody knows. Angle was back out next to tell us loads of stuff, including that at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, Ronda Rousey is going to sign her Raw contract. And that's an up, because that's good advertising by WWE. The crowd, however, weren't that into it. In fact, they booed it, and that's going to be interesting. Kurt also informed us that Jason Jordan, after his surgery, is indeed going to miss WrestleMania, and the crowd cheered that, and Kurt Angle rightfully got pissed off and said, you shouldn't take comfort in other people's misery, and he's right, you shouldn't, that was mean. That makes you all very bad people, but whether or not he's actually going to miss WrestleMania, I don't know. A small part of me is like, this is a work, and he's going to attack Seth Rollins at one point, and we're going to do that program. But who knows? I don't know. We have to watch to find out. Then basically Seth Rollins came out and said, look man, I need something to do now that Rollins is on the shelf. Why don't you just put me in the number 1 contender Elimination Chamber match for the Universal title? And Angle was like, whoa, that ain't fair. We can't do that. But then apparently the crowd cheered a lot, which meant we could change our mind, and he got put in the 4-way for later on, which means it's now a 5-way. And don't forget, that 4-way was meant to be a second chance thing, but it's a first chance for Seth. Either way, this is where you should probably be regardless. It's getting up. An awesome women's match and an awesome segment followed this, and what a lovely thing that is to be able to say. It's getting it up. It was Sasha Banks versus Bayley, and to be honest, this is probably the best damn match they've ever had on the main roster. It was that good, and I implore you to go and watch it. And Banks healed it up here, which was yet more proof that we should just turn Sasha Banks properly heel. It was just an out-and-out brawl at some points, and the chemistry the two have really is quite something to behold. And the finish did come when Bayley hit the Bayley to belly off the second rope, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. Bayley wins, beats Sasha Banks in her hometown, by the way, or home state, California, whatever it is. And after the match, they did some teasing. Were they going to hug? Were they mad at each other? But we never got to find out because Nia Jax arrived and she just beat the hoo-ha out of both of them. And why did she do this? Well, she told us it's because, look, those two idiots took Asuka to the limit and I just beat them both in seconds. Therefore, I must be the person who is able to defeat Asuka's undefeated streak. Now, there's no logic there whatsoever, but I liked it, Jax. I liked it, Bayley. I liked it, Sasha Banks. This was good all round. Then it was backstage nonsense with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins in the bar. Once again, I guess it was okay. Getting it up. It basically started with Rollins and Reigns jostling each other like, oh, what's going to happen if we're both in the chamber? And then Reigns was like, remember the Royal Rumble when I threw you out? Maybe I'll do that again. Don't do that in the Elimination Chamber, Roman. It's not a Royal Rumble, it's a chamber. Learn the rules before you go into the match. Anyway, then the bar turned up and they took the mick out of Seth Rollins. Like, look at all your tag team partners. Look at Dean Ambrose. Look at Jason Jordan. They're all injured and it's all your fault. It's a good point. The Shield bros then laughed at Cesaro's mouth because they were indeed responsible for that, and that somehow ended in us getting a match later on between Roman Reigns and Sheamus. Okay. And then we had a super promo video for Asuka reminding us of everything she's achieved and the fact she's been undefeated for ages. This was very good. It properly showed us how serious WWE is taking Asuka and how we as fans should also take her seriously and to remind us, yes, she's never been beaten and that is a big deal, and it should be an even bigger deal when that does happen. And of course, we all look forward to Ronda Rousey being that person. Titus Worldwide then told us that Apollo Crews is going to win later on. And again, this wasn't bad, but it was just there, and I'm now starting to realize I haven't given many downs to the show, so unfortunately this is getting a down. And it's another down for everything that happened between Absolution, Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. Down. Started off with Bliss telling Mickie James the reason she was trying to help her out last week is because she's worried that Absolution is going to take over the women's division should they get their hands on the women's title. I don't know why anybody would think that given how they were booked, but this was her reasoning. James didn't buy it for 1 second, yet still was in a tag match with Bliss going against Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Of course, Absolution won after Mickie James went for the hot tag, but Alexa Bliss was being distracted by Paige on the outside. That was it. Mandy Rose hit her bed of roses, whatever it's called. Mickie James and Alexa Bliss lose. And now you're like, was Alexa Bliss doing this on purpose? Or was it an accident? Nobody knows. And nobody cares. Absolution then did kick James's ass for a while, and Bliss made the save once more. So all the pieces are there. I know I usually like teasing and seeds, but this just feels like an empty story. An empty story. We should be coming up with some Elimination Chamber ideas and building it around that, but we're not. And it was the highlight of the whole night next as Braun Strowman and Elias got involved in Cartoon Wars. But I love Cartoon Wars. It's getting up. Elias came out to sing one of his songs and he got booed out of the place. And fair play to that man. He has got this gimmick over. And his song was all about how he hated California and how he had defeated John Cena and Braun Strowman in one night. And that surely this meant he's going to win the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, right. From here, though, Braun Strowman arrived at the top of the ramp. And what did he have in his hands? It wasn't a guitar. It was a double bass. You know, one of those massive things. And he started to play his own song, but he was so damn strong, he broke the string straight away, but he still sung. And I tell you what, not only was it funny, it was actually quite well delivered. Anyway, given that he sung his song and he broke his strings, he thought, screw it, I'm just going to go beat Elias up instead. And he did that. It was like a standoff in the rings. They both had guitars, both had instruments that they wanted to attack each other with, but they slowly put them down. And then Elias, like an idiot, went to attack Braun Strowman, and you know what happened after that. Strowman got back in control, and he whooped Elias's ass. Eventually did smash that double bass over Elias's back, and my word, that must have hurt. And we've proven now that because Strowman is so silly and over the top, he can do whatever he wants, but it's going to be damn entertaining, and so it works. Here he is, the man of the hour, the man of the year, Braun Strowman. Now, Roman Reigns versus Sheamus was a very good and a very hard-hitting match. I enjoyed it, and therefore it's getting an up. However, given that this was just here as something for both men to do, why oh why did we tell the story of Roman Reigns basically beating both of the tag team champions? Because that's what happened here. Roman Reigns won, Cesaro was getting involved the whole time, but one spear still took out Sheamus. 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns beats the Raw Tag Team Champions, kinda, but yeah, kinda, you know what I'm saying. Now, belts these days don't mean much anyway, but this just made it even worse because A, like I say, Roman Reigns just won like they were nothing and Cesaro's getting involved, and B, it's a down. That didn't make sense, but that's just the way I wanted to get to my down. Also, what is the plan for the tag team titles right now? We don't know, because they don't have one. They're just existing in the void. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Get them some new challenges. And it was then confirmed that Ivory's going into the Hall of Fame. Cool, up. And then it was indeed the fatal 5-way to get in the Elimination Chamber at the pay-per-view. And as you probably imagine, this was good, getting it up. And it's not that surprising given that everybody in the match was really good. Matt Hardy, good. Bray Wyatt, good. Finn Balor, good. Seth Rollins, good. Apollo Crews, good. So yeah, they had a non-stop action, like super paced match, and you couldn't help but enjoy it because, like I say, it was like go, go, go the whole time. It's a bit like you were on drugs. So instead, we should focus on the finish, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Because after Balor and Rollins had hit a Tower of Doom spot on Bray Wyatt, of course it's Bray Wyatt, because who else was going to take the fall in this match? They both pinned him, and the ref, being an idiot, counted 1, 2, 3, so they both kind of won. Is Seth the victor? Is Finn the victor? Are we going to get 7 men in the Elimination Chamber in 2018? We don't know, and we're going to have to tune in next week to find out. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. Instead, on Facebook Live of all things, WWE just announced, oh no, we are just going to have 7 men in the chamber. So Rollins and Balor are both going in, and that's all right. It'll be interesting. It'll be different. How they do that, I don't know. I guess 3 men will start, or they'll just build another pod, but that will cost money when you can just start it as a triple threat match. And it kind of works, because we are having the Women's Elimination Chamber too, and this means they're different. And now next week on Raw, they'll put a 7th woman in the Elimination Chamber match too. That's what will happen. That's what will happen. And then the show ended. I actually thought that was a decent episode. We built to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view well. We let everybody know that Ronda Rousey's going to be there. That may drive up some interest. And also, I want to see what's going to happen in both matches. I think it's going to be good. I hope we do something with the tag team titles, and it kind of does suck that the IC title is now being run down as well. But hey, I'm used to that stuff now, and overall, I would say this was an alright show. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's Raw. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, where there are articles about Raw, and then follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. This was Ups and Downs. I'll be back tomorrow to up those SmackDown downs. So, thanks for watching. Please feel free to click on any of these things around my head, or something terrible might happen to the dog. Too sweet me, bro. Traitor. Traitor.